And here's an example of sort of like a modern day Coca-Cola advertisement. So it's not providing a solution anymore.
即係已經唔係再話俾你知話可樂就飲我啦，或者係維他奶汽水咁簡單，唔係㗎，已經直情係一種感覺嚟㗎。而家就係、我哋就係要一班年青人有活力嘅係同我哋生活嘅一部分，係一種生活方式嚟嘅。所以可口可樂你揸住嗰罐可樂咧，同揸住王老吉咧係唔同感覺㗎嘛，係咪
？So from that. The new model believes that brand can encompass entire lifestyles. The likes of Disney, Nike, Body Shop, Starbucks, IKEA, they all have sort of like emotional charges. And that's a new word that we're going to be using a lot today, emotional charges. Okay? And these sort of emotional charges provide us with, experience, memory, connection. To the brand and how we sort of react and feel to the brand.
嗱，所謂嘅情感咧，就係一種記憶啦，或者一種好開心嘅一個經驗同埋一個感受。咁你而家睇翻譬如話 Nike 啊、迪士尼啊、Body Shop 啊、Starbucks 呢啲都係有呢一種咁嘅元素，就係先頭講一個情感嘅一個品牌。譬如話喺迪士尼，你唔係淨係見米奇老鼠，你喺迪士尼就可以話俾人哋，你就要同米奇老鼠影相之以外，你就話俾人知我去過迪士尼玩過一啲嘢，有個感覺好開心㗎嘛。譬如去 Body Shop， 你唔係淨係想買護膚品，你就覺得我喺度推動緊環保啊咁樣。咁所以呢一個咧亦都係一種經驗嚟嘅。
So it's very easy to have a brand and find a product to fit the brand, but it's very difficult to have sort of like a brand and make it sort of into an emotional charge. That's once when you actually be able to do that, the benefit is very, very rewarding long term because a brand can be very, very valuable to any company.
嗱咁作為一個消費者，你好容易如果講一個情感咧，你即刻諗到一個品牌嘅，譬如我話開心感覺或者係好香濃嘅咖啡，咁你即刻諗到一個品牌，好容易係咪？咁但係如果調翻轉好似你哋啦，如果要做一個品牌咧，其實就難好多。做一個品牌要帶出呢啲咁嘅感覺喎 ，OK， 要令到人哋有呢一種咁嘅情緒喎，咁呢個就係非常之難。
Okay. Next, I would like to share an example of Nike again. Eat our dust. It's all about the product still. At the time when they sort of like started this. So.
譬如話好似 Nike 咁都得意㗎，譬如話咁建立咗個品牌，咁但係佢又要再重新定位，因為我想推翻呢個系列咧，一個 vintage 系列，即係舊款波鞋系列。咁佢就用嗰個slogan 話食塵啦，食我哋啲塵啦，係咪啊？即係佢食我哋啲塵啦，即係可以去玩嘢玩到咁樣。所以如果你建立一個成功嘅品牌之後咧，你日後可以有好多種好玩嘢、好得意嘅元素，亦都係比較寶貴。即係如果你有咗呢個品牌之後咧，咁你慢慢咧就可以細水長流啦，即係做好多種唔同產品度。
So but this kind of advertising, it's only promoting the product and the name, but it doesn't promote the emotional charge. Okay.
咁其實有啲牌子咧，佢就只係會講到一個感覺啦，咁未必可以講到一啲情緒觸動。咁我慢慢再攞啲唔同嘅品牌再做example.
So basically, Nike, the way they do it is they're promoting themselves on emotional charges. So that when you're actually thinking about Nike, you're thinking about not only the trainers, but a whole way of life, a whole concept. And it gets in your head and you have all sorts of images and it plays with you basically. And it really makes you stop and think. And that's a really successful ad campaign or that's a successful brand approach.
咁好似 Nike 咁樣，佢已經成功到咧。其實你而家見到佢啲宣傳嘅方法咧，已經唔係話大隻波鞋叫你買波鞋，佢只要做到一個感覺就係，OK 劉翔，咁劉翔用 Nike， 咁我都用 Nike 啦。咁然之後你入到 Nike shop， 你就唔止買波鞋，可能你就會買個袋啊，買件衫啊咁樣。咁所以係一種觸動嘅感覺，已經到個層次就係一個成功品牌而家可以出到嚟嘅呢個變化有幾咁強大咯，同埋震撼咯。你而家呢個見到呢個廣告係可以震撼到咁樣。
So the brand image is much more than a picture or a logo. It's a range of association that triggers, your mind, into sort of an impression and building up something in your mind about this brand.
所以個品牌咧，其實就係挑起你個情緒，或者能唔能夠喺你個腦袋入邊，你印咗一種情緒嘅感覺，唔係淨係一種感覺，就要印咗入你個腦，呢個係比較重要。
So the best brand does all its work inside your head.
其實一個好嘅品牌就只係喺你個腦度入邊玩嘢嘅啫，其實就好賣嗰個產品簡單。
So now we sort of like understand a little bit about the emotional charge and what a brand is. I like to sort of like go in detail into sort of like the emotional charge. And we find that there's actually 4 types of emotional charge of a brand.
咁我哋而家開始講下呢個品牌嗰個情感嘅4部曲啦。
The first is Tommy Hilfiger. Basically, Tommy Hilfiger makes no product at all. It's run entirely to a license agreement with products made by a range of other sort of subcontractors and suppliers, all over Asia. And Tommy Hilfiger as a brand is wrapped in layers of emotions and expressions, to a certain sort of social status that makes people want to sort of like be part of that status.
嗱，其實就Tommy 呢個牌子好得意嘅，因為佢自己其實就冇做任何產品嘅，即係佢 Nike 都做波鞋咯。咁佢唔係喎，咁佢整個牌子出嚟咧係純粹整個感覺，跟住佢就喺出邊咧係咁 subcontract， 即係咁樣判出去咧，就攞啲 product 翻嚟，就擺個 logo 上去嘅，其實跟住就賣啦，開始周圍咁樣即係喺亞太區咧唔同嘅地方就賣呢個品牌出去 license 出去咧，就俾人再賣佢啲產品嘅。咁所以嚴格嚟講，佢哋就係一種社會地位嘅一種生活態度嘅一個品牌，而唔係一個實質賣一種實質嘅產品個品牌咯。咁佢就好叻咧，就去即係砌呢個洋葱啊，好多層咁樣，然之後跟住咧出邊就包裝到好靚咁樣，但係實質佢中間係啲咩？佢唔使做嘢嘅，佢淨係去砌個感覺嘅啫，去砌洋葱嘅。
Basically, next is Starbucks. The second is sort of satisfaction, basically. Satisfaction. Howard Stokes, CEO of Starbucks, summed it up when he said, the people who lined up for Starbucks aren't just here for the coffee. So, but at its core, Starbucks is actually just a coffee, a cup of coffee. But it's wrapped around far more layers of other sort of emotional charge that makes us think differently about the brand.
嗱，嗰 Starbucks 老闆講過佢，其實你見到啲人，因為全世界上太多人買 Starbucks 嚟㗎，佢話啲人排隊唔係淨係買個咖啡咁簡單嘅嗰種數啦。咁係真係唔係買杯咖啡嘅，就係買你哋喺度排隊咁樣，俾人睇到個感覺係點樣。其實就係揸住 Starbucks 個 logo， 呢杯咖啡就係一種滿足感嚟嘅，係一種自豪，係一種自信。今日就係新嘅一天開始嘅一種感覺。
Okay, so next I want to show you a video that sort of gives you a good idea about how Starbucks and internally discuss their advertising campaign. And it's not just sort of like built on the focus of the product. Notice that it's more focused actually on sort of the concept of Starbucks and the service part of Starbucks.
嗱，呢個咧就嚟緊有個 video 啦，就睇到其實就係 Starbucks 一個內部嘅一個溝通嘅。咁佢講咧，其實 Starbucks 係咪就係一杯咖啡咁簡單咧？亦都話呢一個廣告，即係呢個系列其實佢究竟係想做緊啲咩嘢咧？